back,
fucking keeper.
Hell yeah, we started the stream too. Let's go.
Oh, so we're live. Okay.
We're live. What's up, guys? House of the Dragon.
Hi,
Woo!
guys.
Guys, I want you to know, like 2 seconds before the stream started, JC broke part of his keyboard or something.
I broke my pop filter, then I was pixelated, so we're off to a great start to this.
But he's good now.
Professional House of the Dragon stream.
Just the most professional stream for a professional show, guys. By the by, guys, if one of us sounds louder than someone else, just let us know down in the chat box and we'll adjust our volume settings. We're still kind of trying to get
nothing. Let's stream your fault.
And also, if you can hear the fan, because the heat in Germany is unbearable.
We can't
I have
hear
a
the
fan right next to me.
You're fine.
Yeah, I'm just
You're getting so self-conscious right now.
Technical brothers. We should call it like the technical council, whatever the fuck.
We need to get StreamYard.
Every week we start off with, "You guys hear us? Do you see us? Oh, yeah, wow, wonderful."
What an volume is high, a little high, guys. Whose volume is high? You got to be more specific. I appreciate your feedback, though.
All right, guys.
Go ahead, JC. Give us an intro while we figure out our stuff.
All right. This is our live stream review discussion for House of the Dragon Season 3, Episode 2, The Fall of King's Landing. I don't know if that's the official name for the episode. I don't think an official name has been released quite yet, but that is what happened in this episode. And today we've got the crew, us three once again. Becky once again could not make it to our stream, but she might be here.
Becky, where's she at? We want more Becky. Get these losers off the screen.
But it's us, guys. So it is myself, JC the Enlightened. We've got Ricky the... What did we say your name was?
Not so enlightened.
Ricky the Outlaw. Ricky the Outlaw, voice of old guy.
I like that. Hell yeah.
And of course, Grease the Cruel.
Hi, guys. Yeah, we're here.
Yeah. So it's all three of us here to talk House of the Dragon Season 3, Episode 2, an episode that I actually thought was better than the first episode, in my opinion. There's things we can nitpick here and there about this episode, or things we could have legitimate criticisms about, but all in all, I actually found this episode to be superior to the Season 3 premiere. So, Grease, why don't you start us off? What were your thoughts on this Episode 2 of House of the Dragon Season 3?
I really don't know. I feel like this is an episode I need to watch a second time, but like it wasn't good, but it wasn't like I don't know, like I had so many more emotions for the last episode. This one I'm like, okay, we go from good scene to bad scene. Good scene, bad scene. It's like whiplash. The beginning of the episode I was sitting here going, okay, we're cooking up some stuff. I'm liking this. I like anytime the Velaryons are on screen, great time. Emma Darcy, amazing acting, especially in the beginning of the episode. Now, it was a little hampered because of how we got there, but that does not hamper the performance, which was fantastic. It was just the writing that was. But overall, I think I like this episode better than the first episode, but it's not by much. They're kind of the same ballpark to me. But Ricky, what did you think?
I want to get one thing out of the way before I forget it, and then we're gonna go on about some of the more negative stuff. I think Emma Darcy's performance in this episode is so incredible. It is some of the best acting that we've had in this entire franchise. I think her mourning Jace is such a powerful scene because you know, as much as we talked about, we didn't have too many emotions going on when we saw Jace dying. Like, that should have been a heartfelt moment for us as fans. We kind of got that through Rhaenyra now. And I think just the way, you see her coming to like grasping or not grasping that her son is lying there dead, really, really wrecked me when I watched it at the first time, and I didn't anticipate it because, as you guys know, I have my problems with the show. I zoned out for a while, didn't do any content, and then this scene hit, and I was pausing the episode after it aired. After the scene came on, and I really cried. Like, this wrecked me on so many levels. This was so real, so heartfelt. that was one of the best performances, I think, by any actor in any of these 3 shows that we've gotten so far. So I want to preface this before we go on about any of the other stuff. I think it's truly, truly exceptional.
Yeah, no, I agree with you completely, Ricky. I thought that scene with Rhaenyra just kind of, at first she can't accept that Jace is dead. She's kind of like, like, wake up, Jace. Or I forget the exact verbiage she uses. It's not like wake up, Jace, but it's more along the lines of like, what are you doing? Like, help me with this. Like, what are you doing?
Mm.
And then eventually the sudden acceptance that her son is dead. And it just dawns on her and she just breaks down in tears. Emma Darcy's performance here is absolutely fantastic. And that's one of the great things about this show. Grease, Ricky, myself, we dog on this show a lot when it comes to the writing, when it comes to some of the logic established within the show, but none of us will ever dog on the acting here. The acting, for like 99.9% of this show has been nothing but fantastic. It has been just the best. We don't have any bad things to say about any of the acting, and Emma Darcy for sure continues to be a shining star. And that scene with her and the cold and dead Jace was just absolutely beautiful and tragic, and yeah, just top marks all around for Emma Darcy, especially here.
Yeah, just watching her, there's like this her coming to the realization that there's a whole process, and you can really see just by looking at her face, like this. It's like she kind of gets it, but then she doesn't, and she's like denying it, and then she's trying to cover it up as she knows that this is what's going on. It's this whole thing, and maybe I'm overanalyzing it, but it's just, I don't know. It wrecked me. It truly, truly wrecked me in a show that I, as you guys know, as we talked about before, kind of made my peace with in terms of like, all right, this is not all that. This just reeled me in, and then other stuff happened where I'm like, okay, well, what are we doing? But it's still like this scene is. I could go on and on, but let us continue.
Before we continue, Ricky, I did listen back. I think your audio is a little loud. So while I talk, bring your audio a little. I'll just say at this, like, I agree with you guys. I'm a bit more, I think, stone-hearted in terms of that. I was just like, I recognize the acting is amazing, but I can't get involved because I'm sitting here in the back of my mind. I'm going, but none of this made sense of how we even got here. So it's like, that's my problem, is I can't get emotionally that invested into this because context of the last episode is like, okay, Emma Darcy is trying to carry the show, like kicking and screaming and trying to like make you feel it because everything else was terrible of how we got here. So it's like, yeah, I mean, and then I do want to say, like, yes, the performances are great in this show. The performances we rarely have ever complained about. We did last episode a little bit, but again, the acting has been great throughout the show for the most part. It's the strongest. I would say it's the strongest part of the show. So I think that's a good positive for us to talk about at the very beginning. It's just the actors give everything they can, even when sometimes the script is just not there. So that's my piece on that.
I just really wanted to like emphasize this time because what Emma did there is so complex because you're bottling up emotions and playing that is so hard. It's like and over, like they really took their time. This builds and builds and builds and gradually, like there's so many emotions involved, and this was a masterclass. And I just wanted to talk about that.
Of course, I would say another shout out. I really liked Matt Smith's acting in this episode as well. Daemon. I just again, the character's fundamentally broken to me, but like I've said, going into the season, I just want to see entertaining Daemon, and that is literally what this episode was. So I appreciate it in that vein, that just the character was interesting to watch again. It was entertaining, kind of reminded you of season 1. JC, anything you want to add to actors or anything like that?
No, I mean, I think we've covered it. I think the acting in this show is just fantastic. Emma Darcy, obviously, Matt Smith. Like, there's a reason those guys are highly paid actors, and it's because they do such a fantastic job with not just the show, but in their everyday, acting jobs. They're just fantastic actors, and it's really, really good to see them act. even Rhys Ilfan, who is the actor for Otto, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, even though we only get him for 5-10 seconds in this episode, his acting throughout season 2 is just phenomenal, and I would have loved to have seen more screen time from his actor here in season 3 before his, I guess, untimely or timely demise.
Yeah.
Do we want to go there? Do we want to start with that with the Otto stuff?
Well, I think we should start with the biggest thing that happened in this episode,
Okay.
which is the fall of
You're telling me
King's
that
Landing.
you're telling me the goat Otto's death was not the most impactful thing of the show? What, JC? What do we have? What are we doing? Otto's the guy. I would say Otto is literally maybe the best character of the entire show, from beginning to end, outside of maybe Viserys.
Yeah.
He's the most
Yeah.
complete character.
Yeah, performance-wise, he's definitely the best in terms of.
And
just, like,
Simon Strong, he also died in this episode, so R.I.P. my guy. We had two absolute chads go down in the same episode.
We lost two goats.
Yeah, rip Strong family, rip Otto Hightower, and not rip Alys Rivers. We'll get to that here shortly, I'm sure. Not rip Corlys, of course. Corlys is still
Somehow.
alive. Yeah, still alive somehow. And yeah, I do want to kind of probe your guys' thoughts. So, Grease, earlier you had talked about how this episode, you're still kind of processing your thoughts. Like episode 2 as a whole seemed like, to you anyway, seemed like it was better than episode 1, but for you it seemed like it was more of like a bunch of bullet points happening on screen. Is that kind of the vibe that you were going for?
So I just think when you have an episode this long, there's a lot more to process. Like the first episode, it's a battle. There's not like a whole lot to process in the back 25 to 30 minutes besides, oh, this is what happened to Jace. This is what they did here. Here we have so many individual scenes of different plot lines. And like I said, I think in this episode, I can maybe point to more stuff I liked. But at the same time, this episode doesn't have the spectacle. It doesn't have that to lean on. So then it's like, okay, then you have the other half where I'm just sitting here going, and like you said, again, I'm going to save it for when we get to Otto, but I do have a whole spiel I do want to talk about with bullet points where there are some things where it's like we're so divided between what Ryan Condal wants to do with the show and his story and then trying to hit George R. R. Martin's bullet points and trying to mix them. And sometimes, and a lot of the times, it does not work because you're, I'm going to end it there because I'll say something later. But
yeah, I think while rewatching, because I said that episode 1 and 3 were the better ones, I think I prefer this episode over the premiere. But I think they're kind of on the same level because as much as we had some like bigger problems in terms of like Rhaenyra coming in and stuff, I think this episode has a multitude of scenes that just, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Like the most unnecessary scene of this entire episode was Jasper Wylde and everything that was completely useless.
Yeah.
Just for you to execute him at the end too, like there was no reason to include any of that. It didn't enhance the plot. It just didn't need to be in the show. Like I was watching this and I was like, what are you guys doing? Because I'm not saying there needs to be a reason for it. There's a case to be had. Like there's a conversation to be had where scenes like that just don't need to happen in general. And then for you to go out of your way to incorporate this weird ass scene, and Orwell comes in anyway. And then what were they trying to achieve? Daemon going to the Black Cells and finding Otto. So we need to include like this sexual assault scene. Like what was the goal here? It's like the most unnecessary scene. I'm lost for words here. It's like when I watched it, I just couldn't believe that this made it past like the draft. Like one of the earlier drafts at that. Like there are multiple people sitting there.
Ricky, we've been saying this for what, 5 or 6 episodes now. Like I don't even know. Like JC, I want you to talk because I feel like me and Ricky talked a bit. So feel free to add your thoughts to all that.
Yeah, that scene seemed really unnecessary. Like as Ricky mentioned, if their intention was to get Daemon to go into the Black Cells to inevitably stumble upon Otto Hightower, they could have still gotten that same result without including that completely unnecessary scene between Jasper, Ironrod, Wylde, and Alicent Hightower. And Matthew Smith earlier here said that, Matthew Stewart here earlier said that this may have been potentially to get us more on Alicent's side, to build more sympathy for Alicent by having this, sexual assault happen out of nowhere. Like, there was no lead up to it whatsoever. There was no hinting that Jasper Wylde like had a thing for Alicent. I guess they just wanted to throw in this random shock scene here, but
just out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, he just spawns in and acts weird and totally out of character. The little time that we had with him, it didn't make sense. He just came in. There were guards there anyway, and I have no idea what the thought process was. Going into this, like.
I think there were better ways, like Matthew, to your point, I think there were other ways to get the audience more sympathy for Alicent, and there were certainly other ways to get Daemon to the Black Cells without needing that random out of nowhere scene. But I think I do want to pivot here to Alicent, if that's okay, Eric, or did you want to speak on Jasper here? Sorry, before I pivot to Alicent, because there's something I want to talk about with Alicent.
Jasper's not really a character in the show, so anything I was going to say was going to be at Alicent. So if you want to pivot to Alicent, and then I'll piggyback off that, that is cool as well.
Okay. Yeah, Dre here says most of the fan base will still hate her. I'm assuming, Dre, you're referring to Alicent. And there is a good reason why the fan base hates her character. I mean, obviously she was wildly inconsistent in season 2, but here in season 3, they definitely seem to be going a more, which I actually kind of appreciate, a more slightly subtle route with her character, where she's doing these very unlikable things. She didn't exactly fess up to meeting up with Rhaenyra in secret on Dragonstone. And in fact, when she's probed about, how did you come to this knowledge that Rhaenyra is coming here? She's like, Helena's trying to take the throne. Yes, we need Helena wants you to surrender because Helena's going to take the Iron Throne for herself. And it's like completely gaslighting the city watch that this is all Helena's doing, and Alicent has no part in this. And it's similar to how in the previous episode Alicent was trying to get Aemon to fly to Harrenhal by, I guess, kissing him and getting him motivated to go to Harrenhal that way, and not telling Aemon that she had plotted with Rhaenyra to ambush Aemon. But one of the things that I actually did like about this episode is that they're definitely making it subtle that Alicent is not a good person. She's completely backstabbing all of her kids here in this season. And, unlike last season where it kind of came out of where it was kind of inconsistent, here in this season, at least so far anyway, from the first 2 episodes that I've seen, it definitely seems to be more consistent where it's like, all right, Alicent's just a shitty mother. All right, we're going there. Cool.
JC, this is going to be one of the few times we disagree.
Okay.
I do not think that's the way the show is going about her character as of right now. There is things in there that it's like, okay, we're trying to show that Alicent is making some decisions that are manipulating people and stuff. But then at the same time, the show has this weird fascination of, okay, but at the same time, we can't do, it's what JC, or not JC, what's Ricky, it's what you said last week. It's like, is this okay, guys? Can we make Alicent a little bit she's a little bit nuanced or whatever, but then they always fall back.
Do not expect that at all. Do not expect
I know. And this is what I expect. The scene where she's getting sexually assaulted is that is thrown in there for 2 reasons. Make us sympathize with Alicent, and for a plot point that makes no sense. So it's just every time Alicent's on screen, it's just okay, there's some scenes where I'm okay, that was a fairly decent scene. And then they ruin it in episode or a scene later. I'm just this is why I don't want to see Alicent. She has nothing to give to the plot really, besides just trying to make plot things happen. But it's
so
I don't know.
You're saying they can't commit. The writers can't commit. They're in one instance, they're Alicent's a bad mother. Look how she's selling out her kids. Look how she's lying about Helena wants to take the Iron Throne. Yet at the same time, they still want the audience to sympathize with Alicent. So they're not really picking a lane here is what you're saying.
Yeah. They're trying to play in one scene we're doing that, but then the next scene is Helena, I want you to be happy. I want you to be free and all this stuff. And we're making the audience sympathize with her. And it's just I don't care. I really don't care at this point. It's just either go the Alicent lane of she's more like Alicent in the book, or just, I don't know. the character is so fundamentally broken at this point that I don't care about. I said this last week. I don't care about her character. Every time she's on screen, something stupid happens. So I don't know. I know that's harsh, but it's just how I feel about the character.
No, I sadly agree. And now I'm gonna repeat myself, but I can't believe that they went out of their way to include a scene that is unnecessary, just by its nature. I hate scenes of sexual assault, and then to include one out of like out of the blue, just to I don't even know what the plan was there, but yeah, awful, god awful.
Agreed, Ricky. JC,
I got nothing to add.
On a more positive note, because I did like the good old YouTuber thing, and I made a couple of notes.
Hell yeah.
What I really liked about this episode, apart from Emma Darcy's acting, was, as you mentioned earlier, Eric, everything that had to do with the Velaryons. Especially, I think Alan and Baela, some nice foreshadowing.
They kept.
I don't think we're ever going to get there, but some nice foreshadowing for us readers.
They kept Corlys's line, the "if this be a victory, then I don't want to win." I forget what he says there in the second part, but it's like, if this be a victory, like I don't want to like taste what it means to
I
win.
pray I don't get another.
Yeah. They kept that line. I was like, oh, that's so cool. It's from Fire and Blood.
Yeah, it's like this Leonardo DiCaprio meme was like pointing at the TV. Yeah, so I liked that, and I also liked the one you just mentioned with Adam and Alan.
I agree. I have nothing to add to that, Ricky. They are the bright spots of all the episodes. The first 2 episodes we've watched, they've been consistently okay, this is a plotline I like. When I see these characters, I'm like, let me lock in for a second. We're gonna have some good writing.
Ooh, something I would want to add there, if some little self advertisement is okay here. I did interview both Adam and Alan, both actors, Abubakar Salim and Clinton Liberty last week, and I would appreciate you guys checking that out. Full interviews always don't do that well in the age of TikTok and scrolling and like getting everything breastfed. So would appreciate you guys checking that out.
They're good interviews.
There you go.
They
were legitimized. They were legitimized Valerians when Ricky interviewed them. So it was
true.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah.
JC, any thoughts on the Valerians and/or what you enjoyed from the episode?
I like the Valerians. I continue to be. I liked all the Valerians. Nothing to say there. I don't like Rhaena. I don't like Rhaena, and I don't.
Oh yeah, I forgot Rhaena existed. Shit.
Can we talk about the daughter of Daemon Targaryen not getting asylum in the fuck-ass Wylde? Like, what are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? This is Daemon Targaryen's daughter.
Oh yeah, she goes back to Jane Eyre and just
apparently nobody recognized her either. One of the few silver-haired people in the world. You tell me like, what are we doing here? Whatever. I'll suspend my belief that nobody spotted this person, the random dragon that caused Jace's death. Nobody saw it. Whatever. Sure, why not?
Say kind of sort of staying on the topic of positives. One of the things that I actually did like about this episode, and Ricky, I know obviously you can't confirm this based on the episodes you've seen, as you've only seen. Well, obviously you're just not allowed to talk about these episodes, and obviously no one knows what happens in the last 4 episodes of season 3. But if they're following certain plot lines from the book, I am liking how this episode set up certain elements of discord here. I want to kind of be vague with spoilers here, but there's certain interactions between Daemon and the Dragon Seeds there where I'm like, okay. Hopefully they're building to what I think they're building to. And then there's also some kind of animosity between Daemon and Mysaria where I'm like, cool. Like that's setting up something for the future that I think could turn out the way, hopefully it turns out the way I think it will, or, turns out the way we all hope it does. But so that stuff was good. However, I will say that one of the things that I did not like in terms of setting up Discord is this stupid phoned in way they're going to set up Discord between Daemon and Alys Rivers, where Alys Rivers is like, all right, I got the Castle of Harrenhal now. And Daemon's like, no, you don't. And Alys is like, all right, I hate you now, Daemon. Oh, hey, Aemond is all of a sudden injured. Well, since I couldn't get this Harrenhal castle and, I now hate Daemon from this one conversation I had with him. Well, I'm all now.
Yeah, let's
slight spoiler. I'm Team Green now. I'm Team Green now.
Your team what?
Totally like
You're supposed to be
Alys
Team
Green.
Smallfolk.
Well,
Gosh, Ricky should scold you for that.
I said Alys is Team Green now. Is what I'm referring to.
The thing is about that, right? Because there was no reason. Apparently, they felt the need to incorporate a scene where they have now conflict. They're now in conflict with each other. But shouldn't that conflict already exist? Because that maniac came on his big ass dragon Uber, killed a bunch of people left and right, spent his time like a crazy animal there. Shouldn't that be enough conflict? Because, and this was a talking point that I wanted to get to later down the line, because I think Alys has this weird back and forth now where she's more like the stereotypical witch character that we know from a lot of other stuff, and totally not like like whatever she is, or however ambiguous that sort of stuff happens in the Song of Ice and Fire. So I think that's a very interesting sort of thing, because we started this whole Harrenhal arc, and we praised it for like being very like book accurate, the feel, like the you remember like the atmosphere, we were like, oh wow, that's very like book heavy, and now she's this witch. Okay. Know what I mean?
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's more like this. Oh, I'm not getting what I want. Ooh, I'm gonna be spooky now. Like, okay.
Yeah, she's a caricature of a witch rather than like a Song of Ice and Fire nuanced version of a witch.
Yeah, it's just like there was so much to pull from, there was so much to pull from, or like add, and all we got now, or what we probably gonna get is like, I'm a witch. Like, this is what she's straight
I'm a
up,
scary witch.
straight up says, right? I do magic stuff.
I'm gonna heal Aemond, maybe.
And again, like, I think Gail Rankin was such a phenomenal choice for that part, and I loved like her introduction, like the implications with the goats and everything, and she's chilling with a couple of green dudes. Like, okay, there's like room for a Song of Ice and Fire stuff, and then it's like, I'm a witch. Okay.
I don't know why, but I'm imagining Aemond the next time we see him, he's just having dreams. He's just seeing green men. He's
he sees Helena.
He's out here just seeing goats. He's
my god! Can we talk about Helena? I mean, we went from Helena being like
Helena's been dead for
Three-Eyed Raven.
She hasn't functioned for episodes.
Three-Eyed Raven 3.0, like the most powerful being, to being reduced to like this funny character now, where
she counts
I'm
her
not
chickens.
quite sure, because we were like, hey, come on, like, okay, if you go that route, you have to do some explaining, like there's some sort of three-eyed crow apprenticeship going on, like how do you access those type of powers? Where
now she's cracking one-liners,
and it's like, yeah. So I'm curious to seeing if we are ever gonna get any type of payoff for the very powerful things that she's done.
Well, if we're going off of George R. Martin's words, which I won't say, maybe not.
Well, beware the butterflies. They meant the butterflies in like the godswood that she was counting.
Go ahead, JC. What are your thoughts on Helena, the most interesting character in House of the Dragon that showed all those visions of remember Game of Thrones, guys?
Yeah, she definitely seems to be a different character. In season 1, they were kind of pointing to her being a prophecyr. Then in season 2, it's like, oh, she's just on the spectrum now and is more powerful than Bran. And now in season 3, she's just like, I'm going to count my chickens, which I didn't get that at first. I was like, is she doing like the saying, like, oh, don't count your chickens before they hatch? Jordan here says it's just like, oh, she just wants to raise chickens. I was like, oh.
Yeah, that's what I heard when I watched it. She was just like, I want to raise chickens. That's how I want to be happy. That's what I heard, but Only an
Okay.
That's how I
announcer on
would
the
want to
screen,
spend my
so-
time in Westeros. You know, just
Why?
raising chickens.
The Lannisters just gonna come and destroy your whole farm. Good luck with that one, Chief.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, like
Oh,
I'd not
Can we-
take part in like a battle of the gullet.
Oh God, here we go.
I'd raise
Yeah,
chickens.
I was waiting for this.
can we talk? I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah.
Can we talk about this? This is
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
okay.
gonna have a crash out.
Yeah, Matthew Stewart, thank you for bringing this up. Solid point here. Yes, it is so. They keep trying to hammer home this is Song of Ice and Fire, and now the reason that Rhaenyra wants to take the throne back for herself, wants to take the Iron Throne, isn't because her son Jace died and she blames the Greens for what happened. No, it's because again of that stupid misunderstanding about the Song of Ice and Fire, where Daemon is like, oh, like I saw this vision of this silver-haired woman in the far off desert. If we the Targaryens are going to have to make that happen, and you have to go on the Iron Throne, and that's what convinces Rhaenyra to go to King's Landing to take the Iron Throne and not her
I
son's
think it's
death.
more. I think sorry to interrupt, but I
Go
think
for
it's
it.
more Daemon's motivation, because I was very angry about that when I initially watched it. But while rewatching it, Rhaenyra only really reacts when when Daemon talks about Viserys. It's still stupid, like making that whole thing about Daenerys, who gets to do nothing 170 years later, at least in like the show canon. So I think it's still stupid, but I don't think it's Rhaenyra's motivation. It's more about her father in that case.
I still think it's stupid as fuck. I mean, like,
Yeah.
what are we doing, brothers? We've had Luke die, didn't fucking matter. We've had Jace die, didn't fucking matter. Like, brother, what the fuck do we mean? The reason Rhaenyra decides to finally go to King's Landing and get out of bed is, oh, do you remember this prophecy you told me all the way back at season 1? The whole song about, dude, like, brothers in Christ. Jace just died and we've already moved on. It's the same episode. And then it's not Rhaenyra that like she's giving in to like, oh, her whatever because of Jace's death. Now it's just Daemon's pushing her to the dark side. It's always got to be the men that are the problem. It's like, brothers in Christ, can we just have a normal character arc where Rhaenyra has problem? Then she like, it's like the prophecy stuff is not. If it would have just ended where Daemon says, do you want your sons to like their deaths to have been in vain? And then it cuts there and Rhaenyra goes, that would have been fine to me. I'd be like, okay, I totally get that, right? She's confronted with what did her sons die for? And that's what pushes her. No, we got to add in the stupid fucking prophecy from the last.
That
But
really
it's
is.
still more
Rhaenyra's
about
whole
Daemon.
character just is pissed me off in this episode. Like,
Yeah.
because they gave me renewed hope that they were finally going, and then I just saw that and I'm like, okay, what are we doing now going forward? I don't believe your character. Like, they don't function. They're just
it is still more about Daemon than it is about Rhaenyra of the prophecy. But I still like having that scene where she's crying, she's mourning the loss of Jace, and he's like, well, we have to talk about Daenerys Targaryen. It's like that has no impact. You just strip him of like any agency because you're making it about a prophecy that we know while we're watching it won't matter for this guy unless you go out of your way to make him like cold hands or something. Just raises from the water. It's like cold hands. Just I don't know, Bran, like Isaac Hempstead Wright spawns in the last episode, and you get like a monologue about time travel. It's just the loss of agency in the show is where the whole ship sank, stripping each and every character of like being human.
Yeah. No,
and
for sure.
Before you go, Jace, real quick, I just want to respond to a comment.
Okay.
Jackson says it's more about honoring her father's words. Okay, totally fine. Let's just go that route, like what Ricky kind of talked about. Still, the idea is this random prophecy that has continued to plague the story and has been its weakest part is what has now shifted Rhaenyra to go, okay, let's go take the throne. It doesn't have anything like, think about what makes the first 4 episodes of season 2 really good. It's that there's cause and effect. This thing happens, This thing then occurs because of that. Why do we love episode 2 of season 2? It's because Blood and Cheese happens. We then have a reaction to it that feels natural. This feels extremely disconnected in terms of we had big plot twist or death in the previous episode. That should then have major effect into Rhaenyra and her motivations and what she's going to do in the future. But now you've discounted that by using the prophecy thing again. And it strips it from like, oh, Rhaenyra is consciously like making the decisions. Like, yeah, that's my spiel on it. But go ahead, JC.
No, yeah, I totally agree with you guys. Where, I mean, for example, like Rhaenyra still has some agency because it was her decision to go to King's Landing and take it over. But the thing that led to her decision was this stupid prophecy of a Song of Ice and Fire that continued to plague this entire series, where it's like, oh, this prophecy that moves everything forward. And, you know, obviously we've talked about the problems that George R. R. Martin may have with this show. We don't really know, you know, the Toxic Butterflies post that he posted more than almost 2 years ago about, about the Blood and Cheese. The implication was that he was going to have more problems with the show. But I'm sure one of the problems that he had with this show was his constant reliance on prophecy. In the A Song of Ice and Fire series, go for it.
They got the sigil wrong. It's like the dragon has 4 legs, which is like very untrue. It's my dragons only have 2 legs. They're like lizards, and we're all talking about like the big things, like obviously the George would never do that, and he's like going on about the fucking sigil. So like, it's just wrong, blasphemy.
Well, the point is that it would make more sense. Like, it would give our characters more agency, and it would make the story more powerful if what moved them was their own decision-making skills. It's like, oh, Rhaenyra is like, they killed my son. Well, I, by my own character accord, will go to King's Landing and take the throne from them. And she doesn't need this prophecy of Ice and Fire to move her towards that conclusion. Similarly, with how in the finale of season 2, where, you know, it would have made much more sense. It would have been a much more powerful thing for Daemon's character if Daemon, out of his own character and accord, would have gone over to Rhaenyra on his own, instead of having to sit there and watch a Helena prophecy about Rhaenyra sitting on the Iron Throne, thus removing any agency from his character, because it's like, oh, this is confirmed. This is confirmation now, not just prophecy, it's confirmation now. Rhaenyra's going to be on the Iron Throne, and Daemon's like, all right, well, I can't fight fate. All right, it's part of the prophecy. I guess I got to change sides now. Would have been cool if I had this, you know, change based on my own character trajectory and growth and agency, but nope, prophecy says I got to change now. So thanks, prophecy. And it just weakens the characters and it weakens the story.
I mean, I guarantee you that's like one of the things George probably doesn't like about it. Like, think about what the entire dance has turned into. You know, we look at all these bullet points of where the prophecy has played a huge implication into why the war has started. And now, as the war is happening, it's kind of changed from just being where Fire and Blood. It's a lot of people that have a lot of flaws. Some of them are just bad people in general. And it creates mass violence across both the dragons, the families, but more the people that are being just completely destroyed, similar to A Song of Ice and Fire. It's turned it into now everything that has happened in the show is not because our characters are consciously making bad decisions or maybe good decisions. It just feels like, especially with a lot of the main characters, we're just on this idea of, oh, the prophecy, and that's affecting how the whole story now moves forward. And it's just, to me, it's just such bad writing overall to me.
Can I
exactly. Like, prophecies are never right. Prophecies are used to lead characters in the wrong way, but when it becomes their entire fucking, that's when it goes off. That's when it's not A Song of Ice and Fire. A lot of the prophecy is there to misguide our characters and for them to find something out about themselves while they're doing it. That's how A Song of Ice and Fire works. I don't get the fixation on on incorporating the A Song of Ice and Fire prophecy. I think, you know, doing that in the very first episode and going like, this is something that the Targaryens told each other. I could see George R. R. Martin and Ryan having some sort of conversation about that being the case. Cool, fine. But then let's just have that and make it like a tiny plot where that information is then lost as like another pile that you add to the Targaryens fucking everything up. But now I'm like, Daemon doesn't really make sense. And I think what Matthew Stewart commented earlier was very scary, and I could actually see that being the end for him, like the green men pulling him out of of the fucking river. I think it leads to some, because if it becomes so obvious, like everything he now does is motivated by the stupid ass prophecy, it has to have some payoff. So it's probably something to do with the fucking Green Man.
Probably.
To what end? I don't know. So he really is cold ends. So we were wrong the entire time. It's not only is it not Benjen.
No,
It is Daemon
Ricky, just
Targaryen.
quiet. Okay, this show has nothing to do with the book. Just leave it out.
He's gonna turn up in the winds of winter. 180 years, you king.
Gosh,
I've watched. I've been here waiting for you, Brandon Stark.
no.
Cannon.
Ricky, you should be
Cannon.
muted for what you're
Cannon.
saying. JC, give
Cannon.
us your thoughts on whatever we were just talking about.
Yeah, here Jordan's comment. I know Ricky, you were kind of talking about it. So here's the deal, Jordan. Like, yes, in the A Song of Ice and Fire series, prophecies are often misread and they lead to these wacky character decisions and whatnot. However, here in the House of the Dragon TV show, the prophecies aren't just these like prophecies that like are misinterpreted. No, they're like confirmation of things. Like Daemon got confirmation that Rhaenyra is going to be on the Iron Throne. And that's not a spoiler. You just saw that happen here at the end of season 3, episode 2. So what Daemon saw in season 2, episode 8, you know, it wasn't just a prophecy that could potentially be misread. No, it was confirmation. There was also something else that was confirmed, which I won't spoil, but it happens in Fire and Blood, a certain character death that was pretty much spoiled there by Helena. So like the prophecies that we're seeing here in House of the Dragon aren't these like, oh, like surreal things that could or couldn't happen, because that would be a nuanced Song of Ice and Fire way of viewing prophecy. No, these are just like, hey, here's what's going to happen in the future with 100% certainty. And it takes away so much from the story. And it takes away quite a bit from our characters and quite a bit from the story, in my opinion.
JC, let me back you up.
Fundamentally, real quick, sorry, because I'm losing that thought. Just fundamentally, if you think about it, when did A Song of Ice and Fire ever tell you or like while you're reading it, that a character can't change, that a character can't do this XYZ? We now have a character, the supposed gray, the grayest of characters, the gray prince, the rogue prince, the fucking god of like gray characters in the Song of Ice and Fire's like world and like lore, and he's told exactly what he needs to do, exactly how he should feel, and that he can't change. And this is where it just goes off, and this is where I'm like, this is why I'm so hellbent in terms of like keeping this separate now, because this can't be the same thing. This just goes against what George R. Martin is all about, which is like humans can change, bad humans do good things, good humans do bad things, and there's a middle where it like leads, and but there's like a fundamental misunderstanding here. So sorry.
No, go ahead. So I'll back up both of you, I guess, now. So let's just give you an example of how do you do this correctly? Just using the book. This is spoilers for Clash of Kings. But Daenerys, she goes in the House of the Undying. The entire chapter is prophecy, it's dreams. Okay, she sees the Red Wedding happening, but she doesn't know what it is, and us, the readers, don't even know what it is. But when you reread it, you're like, oh, now I know what that means, because you're not showing Robb Stark, for instance. You're showing, some dude with a wolf head on him, but it looks like maybe a Stark. So that's a vision that's like, it's telling you something that's going to happen, but you don't know exactly what it means. Or better for this argument is she's basically told like she's going to be betrayed 3 times, or she'll have 3 mounts, all these different things that go forward. And Daenerys is constantly questioning, is this person going to betray me? Is this person going to betray me? So maybe down the line, that'll have a payoff if we ever get the books of Daenerys questioning people, becoming very distrustful, but she's never given the answer. She's not told, oh, these 3 people are going to betray you. Right? Because then it's like, okay, well, now she knows. That's not character development anymore. So it's that way that George uses it. And Jesus said something about the thing that we should probably talk about, but he said, I disagree with your guys.
You, by the way.
Song of Ice and Fire. The whole reason Viserys named Rhaenyra his heir is to make sure the prophecy is handled correctly due to Daemon's chaotic ways. here's my difference though. Like, you can use that prophecy, like Ricky talked about. Like, I don't think the whole prophecy stuff is a bad thing. I could totally see like, oh yeah, this is passed down. But it becomes the point of where the prophecy is used as a crutch. Okay, we can't have Allison turn into a villainous character. So what do? We give her hearing this Aegon thing, and that's going to be the prophecy that causes the accident for Aegon to be on the throne. Not Allison actually maneuvering to place him on the throne like we had seen in the previous episodes. That being a whole accident and the prophecy being a crutch for it. Daemon's character arc, like, it's not as simple as I feel like what you're making it to be. Like, yes, in times it can be a thing that can be beneficial to the plot, but more often than not, it is a net negative to our characters and the progression of the story and the plot.
Yeah, my problem is also more with Daemon than with Rhaenyra. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't think this is what motivated her to go for King's Landing there. It was very well also with Vega. That also got a strong reaction out of her. But just in general, when you do prophecy in a show or like in this world, it has to go a certain way, and I don't like things that are laid out and take over the entire agency, the entire, what could be for a character. Because I think that's what makes A Song of Ice and Fire interesting, is the complex humanity of it all, and that just goes to toast when you incorporate something that tells you this is going on, this will happen to you, this will happen to you, and they all become bonkers. But yeah.
I kind of want to move away from this topic because I know we've been talking about it for a bit, but just real quick, Jackson, with Cersei's prophecy, I'm assuming you're referring to the Maggie the Frog prophecy in A Feast for Crows. Slight spoiler, spoilers for A Feast for Crows if you guys haven't read. Yes, Cersei does have she foresees a lot of things. Maggie the Frog told her about like this Valonqar prophecy, Valonqar being the High Valyrian word for little brother, that a little brother will, kill her, and that there will be a younger, more beautiful queen that will take over for her. And what you're saying is that, like, so far, a fourth of that prophecy has come true. So why are we complaining about it here in House of the Dragon when in A Song of Ice and Fire, so far, it has proven to be quote unquote true? The difference is that Cersei is still misreading a lot of that prophecy. The Valonqar that she assumes is going to kill her, she's assuming that it's Tyrion, but it very well could be Jaime. It very well could be a different character entirely that we don't know of yet. There's a lot of like potential mystery there with the prophecy. It's not like a for sure, certain 100% thing. And even then, like a lot of the quote unquote prophecy that is coming true for Cersei is self-fulfilling. She's like, oh, a younger, more beautiful queen is coming after me and it'll be the end of me. Well, it's like she is also kind of shooting herself in the foot constantly throughout that A Feast for Crows book. So she's bringing about her own downfall and fulfilling her own prophecy that she, foresaw long ago through Maggie the Frog. So in A Song of Ice and Fire, it still very much is, prophecy is still very much this like mysterious, like vague thing that our characters constantly misinterpret, and it leads to them making, these wacky decisions through their own agency and decision making. Whereas again, here in House of the Dragon, it seems to be more of like, this is for sure what's going to happen. So now Daemon, now Rhaenyra, now everyone in the story completely change who you are as a character so that you can arrive to this prophecy that is a 100% for sure certainty.
I think we should move off this
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys.
But I just want to add, like, also just think about it. Like, she doesn't know what the prophecy means. It's not like Daemon where she's being shown shit. Like, she's literally told, "Oh, you're gonna marry the king." Who knows who that could be? Like, you're not expecting, oh, that's gonna be Robert down the road. It's not like, yeah. It's I feel like we can move off it, but yeah.
Yeah. Sorry for going off so long on this. A Song of Ice and Fire prophecy. It's dominated so much of the show. I feel like we need to talk about it. Let's
POV, the last shot of House of the Dragon season 4.
Nice.
Do you guys want to talk about? So we kind of lightly touched it, but do you guys want to talk about the big, I guess, plot twist of the episode, which was Otto's death? I mean, there was a lot of theories about what was going on with him, and so we've now seen his character come to its conclusion in the episode. You guys want to talk about that?
Yeah, what the fuck is going on with like Larys Strong, like gifting fucking Daemon? Sorry for the whole F-bomb thing, but like, what's going on? Just in general, like, to what end is Larys serving Daemon now? Like, what game is he playing? And will this ever be addressed, or is this just a plot device to have him there? And he's just in the black cells the entire time. Like, I don't know. Instead of doing that, just have him be executed. Instead of Jasper Wylde assaulting Alicent, just have him be executed for being on the wrong side, because this is a huge part of the war, and like this brings the moral ambiguity for Rhaenyra if she does that to a quote unquote just enemy. As well as with Otto, not having Otto in the black cell or like chilling for half a season. Imagine all the scenes that this brilliant actor could have saved with Alicent, and all the amazing delivery that would have gotten out of him. It's just, I don't know. I felt nothing personally. I saw him being dragged in, and it was like, oh, you there, you're back again, and then like he was gone, and I was like, okay, well, there goes political intrigue.
I'd love to talk more about Otto here in a bit, but can we just talk about we have a £2 super chat from Sadre. Thank you, Sadre.
Thank you for the super chat. I think Daemon will disown the prophecy for Rhaena. Without getting into spoilers, we'll see. Probably, but we'll see.
You're a Sora High, Rhaena. You're a Sora High.
There's no way, Sadre, we'd love to speak more about this, but out of respect for people here who haven't read the book. Yeah, but I agree with you.
I agree with your thinking, though.
Sorry, Ricky, I interrupted you. You didn't go for it? Sorry.
I just went on forever. I'm good. Like with
okay.
Otto is gone. Politics is gone. My interests.
Otto was the best character in the show, both in terms of performance and also just in terms of a character. I really, really loved his character in that season 2, episode 2, where he just went on that full-on rant on Aegon about at least King Viserys had dignity. You actually think he made you king and all this stuff. Otto was going off. He was on fire in that episode. And it was really tragic that we didn't get to see him until this very moment of this episode. I would have loved to have seen more of him, but I did find it strange that, again, it's this sudden gift from Larys. It's like, oh, Larys left you a gift, Daemon. It's like, oh, okay, well, Larys seems to have consistently changing character motivations as if the writers don't exactly know what to do with this character, which is very unfortunate because
in itself would be cool. Like if you present me with something where I have to go, ooh, what is his end goal in the long run? But I just know that none of this will be properly addressed, I think, unless in a throwaway line. It's just there to bring him back. It was like the bullet point writing we talked about for the last week. We're okay, so we have Otto. How do we get rid of him in an entertaining way and make it like a plot twist and not like a consequence of taking over the city? Well, let's throw him in the black cells. Okay, why do we throw him into the black cells? I don't know, but we'll make it a twist so we have that covered up. And then it's Larys of all people who, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just making sense of this. Just, I don't know.
Okay, let me defend it to a degree. I think there's a defense, but it's not a good one. The rationale of Larys wanting to get rid of Otto to me makes sense of the standpoint of, we even saw in the last season, Larys was trying to become Hand of the King to Aemon. He was, we had that scene in the council with, it was him, Larys, and Jasper, I believe. So there is a motivation here, but it's out of nowhere, right? There's no, oh, how did Larys do this? When exactly did this happen? How has nobody noticed him in the black cells this whole time? Jasper was just thrown in the black cells, and it's okay. It's just
well, they're the black cells nobody can see.
So. I guess so, but it's it's just sitting here. I'm just okay, so Otto Hightower is one of the most powerful, influential people in King's Landing, and nobody noticed his disappearance in the city. Yeah. I don't even know if that's the case. He could have been caught on the way back to the Reach. We'd never know because there's no explanation. So, okay. And again, they could fix this in the future, but the fact that Ricky also doesn't like this tells me there probably isn't anything in the future. But I wouldn't know. I'll just say this: like, there is motivation here, but there's terrible execution. It's terribly executed. Where you have one of the best characters of the show, and his death just feels like here's a plot twist.
Can we talk about the Triarchy just spawning in and it turning into a full-on sitcom with like Aegon bashing like dudes at the back of the head? Like just. Oh, I guess this is.
Wait. Actually, Ricky.
The war
Ricky.
was
Wait. Let me finish Otto before we move on, because I feel like this is a big point.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of want to talk about Otto too, if that's okay, Ricky, before we move on to Triarchy.
Yeah, sure. I'm sorry. I'm going all over the place.
You're getting passionate, which I like. I'll say this before I hand it over to JC before we continue. But I just feel like what Ricky you talked about is like, okay, so there's this bullet point in the book where Otto dies when Rhaenyra takes King's Landing. But in the show, we don't know what happens to Otto. He apparently leaves in episode like 2 or between episode 2 and 3. Then randomly in episode 8, he's in a prison cell. And then it just feels like this was such a waste. You could avoid all of the problems of having the twist of Otto's death if you just went, oh, Otto's still at court. He's not like, a hand of the king or anything, but like we can have more scenes between him and Alys. Those two can actually develop together. Maybe Otto is the one like, pushing against what Alicent's doing, or maybe he's leaning into it. Maybe he's like, oh, well, what's happened with Aegon and Aemon? Maybe now he's having a character arc where he's regretting some of the things he's done, and maybe he's helping push Alicent to whatever she did in season 2. Or what people, just fans, made that was better. It was like, oh, maybe we do an actual change from the book, which wouldn't have been a bad change. Have him go to the Reach. That could be our connection to that storyline. But no, we got
this. On that note. Just a little addition here. On that note, I would have, just to highlight how much I don't care about them adapting Fire and Blood, I would not have minded if they chose for Otto to replace Unwind Peak. Like, just do something interesting, like continue on that journey. If you're not following the book anyway, just go for it and then make it cohesive. And yeah, missed opportunity. Great actor. R.I.P.
Yeah. Philip, I do see your comments on here. Is it okay if I talk for a while, guys? I really want to talk about this Otto.
Yeah, go ahead. Me and Ricky yapped for a while, so.
No worries. So, Philip, I do see your comments here about how it would have been better if Otto maybe was potentially part of the Beesbury plot. And Ricky, I believe this is something that you had guessed in the season 2 finale when we saw Otto there in the cell at the very end of season 2.
It's definitely what I guessed.
Yeah. Both you guys had guessed that, like, oh, maybe he's with the Beesburys, because that would make sense. It would tie into the honey wine stuff, which I don't know if they're going to cover that in this season. I don't know if they're skipping that, but it would kind of lead us back to the Reach and to Daemon and Ormond Hightower and all that stuff. Like, they're already changing stuff in the book. I think if they were going to change it, it's like, might as well give Otto some more screen time, like, and have him do more stuff, like have him interact, either in the cell with the Beesburys as, being captured there before he gets rescued by Daemon the Daring, or like Philip here suggests, have him be part of the Triarchy stuff. Otto was already sending letters to the Triarchy. Why not have him be more involved in the Triarchy stuff as opposed to Tywin Lannister, who we did not see in this episode, who I'm assuming is still alive. I don't know, unless they change something. But anyway, there is a lot of opportunity here where they could have given Otto more screen time, and it would have made more sense within the logic of the story. Here, instead, they just bring him up out of nowhere, and it's like, oh, Larys had Otto. Why did Larys have Otto? We don't know, but here's a gift for you, Rhaenyra. Now chop his head off. We know that you haven't seen him in so many episodes in an entire season, but there you go, chop his head off. Could have used more screen time, but whatever. And there were ways where, like, Ryan Condal definitely seems to be playing this game where it's like he wants to both deviate from the source material, yet at the same time also come up with his own story while still keeping the bullet points from the source material. And it's like, all right, well, if you're changing stuff in the book, might as well just change the whole Otto bullet point, just like Otto's now in the Reach or Otto's now in the Triarchy. And I think it would have been better for the logic established within the show.
I mean, it fundamentally makes no sense. You've already changed Fire and Blood. And like, I didn't even mind it. Like, this is what we always talk about, right? We're always saying, we don't care that you're changing it from the book as long as it's a beneficial change. Are any of us here saying, oh, we would have hated the change, Otto getting more screen time and going into the Reach or whatever? No. Well, like, we're sitting here going, okay, you've established something in the show.
Having more scenes?
Yeah, like, give us... it's baffling because we play this game where it's like, oh, we're going to change Otto. He's off screen for the entire season. He has no relevance. But then we're like, oh, let's be book accurate all of a sudden. When it's like last episode, we literally like had all the shenanigans of last episode. It's just like, just commit to something. It just feels like your show has no identity because it's trying to balance two different things and neither one works most of the time. So it's just like, I don't know. That's my
what
thought.
did you guys think about the Triarchy spawning in? They had fast travel though.
My thing with the Triarchy, I'm sorry to cut you off, JC. It's just like, for one, they don't really give us a good like, where are Aegon and Larys? Why are the Triarchy now all of a sudden like attacking them? Like, and then Aegon and Larys are just forgotten about as the Triarchy just completely destroyed their little honor guard of people. So yeah, I don't know. It just feels like the Triarchy were a plot device in this episode, but yeah.
Larry's going like, oh, this is the Triarchy, so I guess he wasn't too successful. Haha. Like, all right. Have the Triarchy coming in. I don't know. While we're at it. Going on like,
thank you for the super chat, Princess Lioness. I think I guess we'll talk about this afterwards, but I'll just mention it here. Yeah, I don't really like Rhaenyra's characterization in this episode.
Where did she get the sword?
Well, it's not even that. It's just like my thing with Rhaenyra is we were told in season 2, like all the creators were like, oh, Rhaenyra, this is like her, oh, she's going mad type thing. Like she literally watched a bunch of innocent people die because of how just stupid she was. Of just, hey, let's send everybody in to get brutally massacred. But now all of a sudden she's like, ah, man, I can't kill Otto, the guy that literally started my whole family dying. Like it's just like, I don't know, like her not actually killing him on the first slice makes sense. She doesn't wield the sword. That makes sense. It's kind of like Theon, Game of Thrones, Song of Ice and Fire thing. I get that, but I totally agree with you. I just hate that it's like, okay, Rhaenyra is being influenced by Daemon, and that's why she's going to break that. It feels like it's like, dude, can we just have the character have that growth? Why does it have to be, oh, it's tied to Daemon or it's tied to this? There's like, I don't know. I do agree, but I feel like that kind of went from where we were talking about the Triarchy. So
yeah, I think, and Ricky, if it's okay if I kind of stay on this Rhaenyra subject just a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah.
I was just worried because Spotify went off, and I was worried that you guys would hear music.
Oh no, don't worry, I can't.
So that's why I clicked.
I can't hear your house music you're playing, but yeah, no,
it was Mozart.
Oh, Mozart!
The funniest
completely opposite. So Princess Lioness, I do agree with you. I think it would have made more sense if Rhaenyra, and this is going back to what you had mentioned earlier, and also going back to what we talked about prophecy. I think it gives Rhaenyra, the character, more agency if she kind of goes to the dark side based on her own decision making. If she's like, oh no, bring me Otto, and then she by herself through her own decision making tries to chop off Otto Hightower's head off without having be goaded by Daemon, because I know the show writers for the first couple of seasons, they really wanted to push this theme where it's like, oh, Alicent and Rhaenyra, they're just innocent bystanders. And it's all the evil men around her that are influencing and manipulating things. And, it's these two tragic women at the center that we should feel sorry for. But I think the story, again, has more nuance when the two women at the center of it are also nuanced and have their own flaws and are also messed up in their own way. I think that makes for a more interesting story. So I think personally, even though I did like, Rhaenyra struggling to cut Otto Hightower's head off and, it making sense, Otto, if he was going to be in King's Landing, then he needed to die here. If he wasn't going to be with Beesbury's anymore, if he wasn't going to be in the Triarchy, if he was going to stay in King's Landing, he needed to die here. If they wanted to take that route, I think it would have made more sense if Rhaenyra made that decision on her own instead of having to be influenced by Daemon's quote unquote, evil energy or whatever.
I agree. I just don't like
one thing.
Go ahead, Ricky.
Just a quick thing. One thing that I can tease about the next episode is that some nuance about Rhaenyra is coming in. Finally, she I talked about this for my review also. The agency is coming, and it is a bliss to finally see it. So that's something to look forward to. This is going to get better. Allison, on the other hand, we're going to talk about that. Well, hello there, Sir Pounce.
Sir Bounce Ray.
Ray, I heard her name a couple times, and she was like, "Okay."
Ricky, I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully that is the case, because so far it really seems that the show has done everything in its power to make sure that Rhaenyra and Alicent are as blameless as possible. But hopefully it is the case where they finally start getting more darkness and becoming more nuanced.
Yeah, same, Matthew. By the way, same. It's too late, but at least it is coming. Like,
Yeah.
My issue is how we've gotten there. Like it almost doesn't
Yes.
even matter what they do with what in the next episode, because it's like we've gotten there in terms of, okay, it's Daemon pushing her to do these things. Like even the whole idea of, oh, there's blood on her shoes as she's walking up to the throne. It's like, in theory, that's a great idea. Like she's starting her reign with blood and what her reign will be. But it's like
cool
at the same time,
theme,
it's like, okay, Daemon is the one that basically put a sword in her hand and like forced her to kill him. It's like, this wasn't Rhaenyra's choice. It was just like, oh yeah, this is this guy that I dislike, that has caused me so much pain. It's just it feels more like, oh, this is Daemon acting through her that I just dislike, because it continues to give Rhaenyra excuses of, oh, Rhaenyra is still not the character that she should be at this point, after losing multiple children, after everything that's transpired because of this war. It just feels like we continue to lack anything with the character.
And it all goes down, it all comes down to what Ryan Condal said the other day. I saw someone quote tweeting that he said there's a Rhaenyra before and after Jace's death. And I disagree with that, but I think that explains why there was this going back and forth. There was this bullet point, this map on the outline that said, not Rhaenyra won't do anything wrong, and Rhaenyra will start to do some things wrong. And it's like, oh, okay, well, that's tragic, but that's how they approached it. So now,
but even then, though, the wildest part, though, Ricky, is that Jace's death hasn't actually been the thing that's pushed her to these things, though. That's my fundamental problem. Is like, I totally understood that. Like going into the season, I was trying to give that a lot of like leeway to be like, oh, Jace's death will have this huge impact on Rhaenyra. And thus far, like outside of the first like 10 minutes, it seemed like, again, we were repeating the same problem of Luke's death did not have an actual impact on her as a character. It was these other things that have now led her to have that impact, which to me is just terrible writing.
Yeah, I mean, Luke's death and everything that followed should have divided both factions that we don't even have anymore. We don't even have like a proper Greens team. We're in the middle of introducing a whole new faction for whatever reason now.
Yeah.
Jordan, I'm sure we'll get to that point. Hopefully we'll get to that point at some point where we truly do see, Maegor with teats or Rhaenyra the Cruel. But
yeah, I have no doubt. I just think the problem is like the foundation is just not there. It's just, you have to do the legwork for these things to pay off in a very satisfying way. Why does Otto's speech all the way in episode 2 of season 2 hit so hard? Because we had a whole, basically a season and then an episode or two to build to that moment. It's not because it just happened, and that's the core of when a Game of Thrones was great, was when it did the legwork. It didn't just throw things at you and just that didn't feel developed. It just, I know Ricky's talked about this, especially in his non-spoiler review, and I know we've talked about it, but it feels so much like season 6. There's things that like I can say, oh yes, I liked this. There's other things I'm like, this makes no sense. It fundamentally breaks where the story is going. So, yeah.
Yes. So there are elements where I'm like, oh, okay, this is Jaime and Edmure having a nice conversation in a tent there. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. How do you live with yourself? Like that scene was so amazing. Do you remember that in season 6? When that came out, I was like,
should have happened in season 5. But
yeah,
You know, they did it
Well,
eventually.
Yeah.
JC, any thoughts you want to add to that on Rhaenyra before we move on?
No, I think I'm ready to move on here, guys.
JC, do you want to give your thoughts on the Triarchy? Since me and I kind of said my piece, and we kind of skipped off that topic very quickly with Aegon and Larys and their stuff.
For me, it was just such a small scene. It didn't really affect me one way or another. As far as like the fast travel stuff, I think by this point the show has established that fast travel is now just a thing now that happens, and you know
They all have Littlefinger's jetpack now. He borrowed it. You can use it, Sansa.
you're really good at impressions, Ricky.
Like, the more I think about it, since Ricky's brought it up, I struggle to understand what is even happening, because it's like the Triarchy have their fleet. You would expect, okay, they're gonna specifically target like the Velaryon stuff, but now they're randomly just fucking around with Aegon and Larys.
They're spawning. They're spawning to do a Rook's Rest Part 2 against the Stauntons for whatever reason. They have some serious business with the Stauntons.
Yeah, that did
very famously.
Yeah. The more you talk about that, the more I'm like, that did. As much as I like Aegon and Larys' dynamic, everything around them doesn't make.
And that was the reason for it, right? They wanted to have some kind of bandits, and they were like, well, the Battle of the Gully happened, and it's not too far off, so let's just throw them in there. Oh well, how many? How many children did Scarlett O'Hara have? Well, she didn't have any children because she's not a real person.
My thing is, like, they
how
had
many soldiers did the Triarchy have?
Okay, but my thing is, like, they had so little screen time. Why even bother with that whole plot? Like, it just happens so fast. Why didn't they just have 2 scenes of them in their little carriage ride and just wait until something actually
decides to walk to Rook's Rest? It's like, all right, I have these insane injuries, but now I'm gonna walk to Rook's Rest. Fuck it, I'm walking here. Like, so what are you doing?
Simon Strong goes from the Red Fork all the way back to Harrenhal. And it's like, oh, he's here now. Okay, cool.
just to massacre my boy.
Yeah.
Can we get an RIP for Simon Strong? He was a great character in season 2, and we cannot say that enough.
Such a phenomenal actor. He had this sort of gravitas that you rarely, like, really get from these very minor parts. Like, he was, like, he had no business going that hard in the amount of screen time that he had.
Even his scene with Aemon, I'm like, yeah, dude, this is my guy right here, dude. And then Aemon kills him like, little bitch. Okay, I hope Alicent comes and rejects you when you try to, like, kiss her again. You know what? That's all I gotta say. Screw you, Aemon. I don't want to see no redeeming stuff from you. You've killed Simon Strong. You murdered all those people off screen. I don't want to see nothing. I don't want to see a single thing where they're like, oh yeah, I feel sympathy for Aemon. No, screw that guy.
But remember, he didn't murder Alys Rivers.
Well, he got stabbed in the back.
The Strongs did they got a hit in. We can say that.
Yeah.
Oh, D Charles spawned in. How's it going, dude? You're alive.
D Charles is here.
Yeah. Check out his channel. I love his channel.
That's some good work.
Yeah, I know.
Ricky, are you gonna read the comment, or are you just gonna be like, oh yeah, let's just throw his comment up there? Yeah.
we joke.
There's
joke.
so much. Okay, you go ahead.
Guys, get it together, okay? So unprofessional.
We're just pretending to be YouTubers here. Ricky's pretending to be an HBO.
Hey, you're stealing my line now. That's my line.
Okay, screw you guys. D Charles's comment. There's so much episode continuity problems. They seldom glue together, but tonight's episode really felt like one of those better season 5/8 episodes, meaning that in isolation I could enjoy it.
Yeah,
I think that's a great point.
We joke about this episode, and there's a lot of holes that you could poke through, but I think all 3 of us are in agreement, and I know you guys can't tell, but we actually liked this episode better than the season 3 premiere, despite all of our nitpicking.
Yeah, isn't saying much. I gave it a 5 out of 10, by the way. That's not saying much, but
yeah,
it is slightly
I'm giving it more like a 6.5, almost a 7. It's a decent episode with, like, gigantic holes, and you came to the channel of the free book idiots, the snobs were
Hey,
like,
hey,
But actually,
hey.
Scarlett O'Hara.
Hey, more
Where's
people
my
are
agency?
starting to agree with us, though. More people are starting to
I
convert
know.
masses. Okay.
but this is the hardcore channel.
Yeah, it is 100%.
We're the party poopers. We're the guys that sit at the back of the party talking about, wow, this board game is actually amazing, while the other cool guys are playing beer pong.
Pure beer pong sucks, dude. Anybody that drinks beer, dude, it's just piss water. Don't worry about it, guys. You drink
Holy
wine like
shit. You never
civilized
really
people.
That is the
Well,
problem.
German beer
That
is
is
something
the problem.
different. German beer is something different. Let's clarify that.
See,
I've
you
never
see,
had
you're
German.
talking to a Bavarian. You're walking on thin ice.
Ooh.
Okay, well, I'm talking about America. We have piss water. Okay, that's our extent of beer. Okay,
America.
sucks.
So one thing I did want to kind of touch on, and this was touched on earlier here in the stream by a couple of commenters, was the fact that this season 3 episode 2 definitely felt more like a season 2 finale, and the next episode I'm sure will feel more like the actual beginning to season 3. And as I'm watching this
Not
episode,
really.
no,
No, it's more like a standalone thing, which I really liked. I like episode 3, and it has all those holes, and we're gonna talk about them. But like, I
boy.
like just the concept of that episode is really cool, really really cool.
Okay, well, I'm looking
Better not
forward
be
to it.
Best
Rhaenyra
of the
fucking
4.
around, that's all I gotta say.
Yeah. Well, all this to say that at least when it comes to this episode
Comments, I'm
feeling,
sorry.
when it comes to this episode feeling like a season,
Triarchy Infinite
You okay, Ricky?
Spanglish.
You okay?
Triarchy Infinite Spanglish. They just spawn into every episode now. It's like, oh, whoa, the Triarchy. We have God's Eye, like going down. Daemon, Aemon. It's like, oh, watch out! It's the Triarchy.
They might even spawn into our stream right now. You never know.
Oh hell yeah!
So what you're saying is we can expect dead Shadak Alohar just spawning in the next episode out of nowhere, just for no reason.
Yeah. Night King.
Nice. Well, that's a season 3 episode 3 problem. But as far as season 3 episode 2 goes, I agree with a lot of you guys in the chat. Yes, this definitely felt more like a season 2 finale, which it felt like a very climactic way to end season 2. One of the things that I was kind of surprised by, and I'm not sure if they're going to do this in a later episode, and Ricky, don't spoil it because I don't want to get you in trouble here, but and again, guys, I'm not trying to be a book snob here, but in the Fire and Blood book here, Rhaenyra, when she sits down on the Iron Throne, she lifts up the palm on her hand and she sees blood on her hand, and it's supposed to signify that like, maybe her time on the Iron Throne, maybe her days are numbered. We'll see. And it's like this big mega thing, but they didn't do that in this episode. She didn't like lift her palm up and see blood on her hands. So maybe they're saving that for a later episode, or maybe they're just not doing that plot point.
It's implied.
It's the thing where she walks to like she carries Otto's blood onto the steps of the Iron Throne, which is what I meant in my like spoiler-free review, which is like basically their version of Arthur Dane having 2 Dawn boys, like for no reasons. Like this is actually cooler. Like there's just those type of changing going on. Where it's like
they've completely destroyed that whole meaning of that the throne is rejecting Rhaenyra. But in the show, that's not the case in this episode. At least in this episode.
Yeah, because
it doesn't cut
cooler,
her.
You know, Rhaenyra has 2 Dawns, 2 Dawn boys.
She's got her sword. She'll cut you up, dude.
She does have a sword.
Even though she's unwilling to kill Otto Hightower, she's wielding a sword, but she also doesn't want to kill Otto. So I don't know what the purpose of the sword is outside of just looking cool.
I didn't hate it. I was just like, oh, this is different. Because we saw Viserys cut his palm on the Iron Throne. So I was like, oh, it'd be like nice symmetry of Rhaenyra cuts her palm on the Iron Throne as well. And they didn't do it. So I was like, oh, okay. Interesting. So.
Agreed. What do you guys, you know what? I have a question for you. So now that we've seen all of technically season 2, what do you guys think about, because we saw a little bit, we didn't talk about it much in this live stream, about what we saw with the Riverlands plot with the Winter Wolves / Oscar Tully, the River Lords, their little song and dance. But now that we've gotten the full context of season 2, what do you guys now think about that whole plot line? Given I know chat has talked about it, that we've cut multiple battles at this point. Just curious on your thoughts on that kind of stuff.
JC, you go first. I've yapped way too much on this stream.
But I love your yapping, Ricky.
Am I rapping? Oh yeah. Fish feet.
Fish feed. I don't know. I don't really feel any differently about the Riverlands. It's like, all right. I mean, Oscar Tully is there, and yeah, he's just there. He's not bitch slapping Daemon like he was in season 2, but you know, he's there, and I guess Simon Strong is there, and Daemon is there. I don't really have any opinion on the Riverlands. It's like they're just there to me.
Let me clarify though, but like think about it in the context of we've seen all of season 2, right? There's no longer the excuse of, oh, season 2 didn't have its last episode. We now know the full context, right? We're assuming these episodes were what we're going to be at the end of season 2. When you think about it though, when you step back, we had an entire season dedicated to Daemon's internal turmoil, with all that stuff, which didn't really go anywhere. And then also the other part of that was the Riverlands plot. And it didn't really go anywhere, right? Like we didn't see any battle. There was no payoff to that. It was kind of just, all right, the boys are together now. And that's how we technically end season 2. It's just kind of, I don't know. It just feels very weird. Like when you think about how many episodes we've spent and there's been almost no payoff at all.
Yeah. I mean, it is. I mean, it sucks, but I don't know. It just feels incomplete.
But the Riverlands are just waiting to get blasted, right? But we had to have more like. I mean, that's what the generic Riverlands thing to do is to get wrecked. Like, it's just it's waiting to get wrecked, and you know, we had to have a couple of more scenes with Daemon doing whatever. Yeah.
We did get Alys Blackwood. We did get Black Alley.
I like what they've done with the character so far. Like what she looks like, I guess. That's all we got to go off of. But
yeah, she's pretty hot.
Dang, had to take it that way, but okay. Moving off that point very quickly.
Well, great discussion. Yeah. Full caveman thing.
You have Jackson's comment.
What's that?
You bring up Jackson's comment, JC, on the screen.
Sure.
So what's up with the Dragonriders just not pursuing Aemond? This is something I also don't understand in the show. Because in the book, it's different. They don't know Aemond's movements. In the show, they basically know Aemond's movements. Why don't they just go, hey, we have like 6 or 7 dragons. Why don't we just go kill them? Like I still don't understand that in the show. It doesn't make sense to me because there's literally no opposition to Rhaenyra right now. So what? Just end the war. Like
let's switch this topic to next week. Is all I'm going to say about that.
I don't want to delve into spoilers here, Jackson, but they're trying to find, as being as vague as possible as I can be, they're trying to find a way to make the dragon seeds look disagreeable in the sight of Daemon and disagreeable in the sight of the Blacks. And I don't want to say more on that.
But just on face value of it, think about it right now. Because Daemon and Rhaenyra clearly don't give a shit about Daemon. They haven't for like, I don't know how long at this point. Aegon is now in hiding. He doesn't have a dragon at this point. Helena is Helena. Aemond is literally your last threat in their eyes. So
yeah,
why are we prioritizing? Like I get why we're prioritizing the throne, but at the same time, I also don't, because if you just take out Aemond, the war's over, and you have like 7 dragons. So even if it's bigger, you have 2 dragons, knock into him, and then you have another one just pluck Aemond off or burn him to death, and he's dead. So it's like.
I gotta say, in general, though, like the whole dragon logistics and like movements and whatever in Fire and Blood are just total bullshit as well. There's like all this flying around and flying about and all this, turmoil coming in where no turmoil is really realistic. So I think that's one of the things about the Dance of the Dragons that I just don't buy in general. Is like, all right. You all have nukes, and you're gonna like until the right moment hits where they finally like come together. It's like, come on.
I do agree. This is a good point because even in the book, they know, like Daemon knows Aemond is setting out from Harrenhal with Criston Cole. It's kind of different in the book and the show, and they also don't do that. They don't just like, oh, Aemon's on the march. Let's all send our dragons at him and just kill him.
Yeah, it's like this whole thing, and
I agree. That's a book problem too.
Yeah.
Greece,
which is why I prefer Jaehaerys' reign.
Now there you go
Fuck
again, Ricky.
you.
There you go again. What the hell, man? If I can move on from this topic, if that's all right with you guys.
Sure.
Grease, you had mentioned earlier about how, like, does this episode kind of make the entire season 2 storyline with the Riverlands feel satisfying? And no, it really doesn't. But I do want to kind of touch on that subject. Now that we've seen the full quote unquote season 2, the first 2 episodes of season 3 being the last 2 episodes of season 2 that were then pushed off to season 3 because of budgetary reasons. There was a common complaint that I heard from a lot of people in season 2 that, like, oh, the only reason why season 2 is seen as a bad season is because we didn't have the quote unquote ending of the season. If we had had the Battle of the Gullet and the Fall of King's Landing, then season 2 would have been better. But I disagree with that statement. And I still disagree with that, because even now, getting the full season 2, I think had we seen these 2 episodes 2 years ago at the end of season 2, I think we would have still had the same complaints about the characters, the logical inconsistencies within the story, just a lot of the logic not really making sense. Like, you could honestly poke holes through a lot of the plot lines within the story, and I think it would have still been maybe a season that maybe we might have looked back on a little bit better because of the spectacle of it. But I think we would have still had the same complaints that we have now about the characters. Do you agree? Do you guys agree with that?
Totally. Like, we pointed this out multiple times, that we had problems with the specific decisions that they were making, and not about, like, not having a conclusion or whatever. I think most of the times when we praised season 2, it was about the slower paced stuff, like the Harrenhal initially and everything. So some of the stuff that, like, the mainstream audience had big problems with. So I think now having season 2 in its entirety changes nothing about how I view the show. Yeah, like like D Charles says here on the screen, it is bad on its own. The specific writing decisions, the specific inconsistencies they transfer, we don't really get a continuation in many of the plot problems that we had. So it's like more of the same, just prettier to look at.
I agree. I think what's important to say is this is what we've been arguing for 2 years. Like, what D Charles has said is what I've been saying for years, and it's like we are definitely the minority, right? I think most creators have given the show way more of the benefit of the doubt. I have not been one of those people. I've been very critical of the show. I dislike the show, I would say, even more than you guys do at this point, given my ratings are probably going to be lower than your guys's again. I just think, why were we so upset at the end of season 2? It wasn't because, we didn't get the battle at the end, or we didn't get this or that. It's the show at that point had proven to us it was no longer adapting Fire and Blood. It was no longer, besides the book, just act like the book didn't exist. The show in and of itself, continuity-wise, didn't make any sense. And now we've gotten 2 other episodes. If anything, it's just cemented what I already thought about last season, where I was like, oh, okay, now I've seen what you're thinking of what the whole season should have been, and I just go, oh, yeah, we have a fuller picture of what Rhaenyras Arc was going to be in the season. I still don't think it was very good. I still think they wasted too much time. Plot points don't make sense. Daemon's arc, I mean, it's just bad in terms of where he is now as a character is just bad. Alicent, all over the place in terms of how she's written, consistency from episode to episode. It's just a broken story overall. It doesn't, like, now that we have a full picture, it's like, oh, now we have no more excuses. Like, this is what they were doing. That's all this season has confirmed to me. Is like that excuse now of, oh, season 2 wasn't good because of this, no longer to me is valid. It's just, we've seen now it isn't very good. Now, for casual audiences, that's completely different, right? If we had seen the Battle of the Gullet and this, whatever, maybe season 2 would be looked at more fondly. I don't even know on that, because this show has become more and more divisive, I feel like, as every episode has gone on. So I don't know. I don't, to me, this season, if you include these 2 episodes with season 2, my opinion would be the exact same. My rating doesn't go up. It doesn't go down. It's just still not a good season.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, the spectacle of the Battle of the Gullet and the spectacle of the Fall of King's Landing, I mean, I guess they do, quote unquote, soften the blow But in terms of, but our main issues are again with regards to the writing, with regards to the characters. There's just a lot here that you could honestly poke holes through, and I think, maybe my rating would be like a half point higher at best. But all in all, I still would have problems with the season. And if these first 2 episodes of this new season 3 are anything to go off of, I don't think those problems are getting remedied anytime soon for season 3.
I think what really saves season 2, now that we've seen the full thing, like what makes season 2 amazing now is that the Triarchy spawned in, and hopefully we're gonna get more of that in the following episodes. I need, like, every episode should have one scene where the Triarchy just spawns in. I'm looking forward to that.
I'll say this. I actually think I will rescind my. Honestly, I think season 2 I would rate even worse now, because at least with season 2, when we initially were reviewing it, we had, for the most part, the first half is where people go, okay, the first half is pretty good. It has problems, but it's pretty good. Right? There's 2 very strong episodes in there. The first episode's like, okay, Blood and Cheese is, but overall everything besides Blood and Cheese is kind of like reminiscent to season 1. There's a lot good there. Kind of episode 3 is kind of similar. It just has a much more bigger problem at the end. But then it's like, now we've had a string of episodes now. We've had 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All are like, I don't think any of them are that strong of episodes. They're all, to me, have problems with pacing or weak writing. Like, we're now looking into me. I would say,
wasn't there one episode we really liked that was like in the midst of it was 6, right? 6, very 6. Underrated. Very, very good
episode. The problem with episode 6 now is episode 6, I look on not as fondly anymore because of what came after it. So, like, any scene now that you look at and you see Daemon and his Harrenhal stuff, I go, immediately invalid. Immediately invalid. I don't care. I don't want to see the scene. It goes nowhere. So
watch the comments.
Oh, God. What? What
so will the storming of the dragon fish see the Triarchy spawning?
People that don't know what the storming of the dragon pit is, just remove this entire section from your brain.
Oh my God, I'm losing it with the Triarchy. Like, it was just such a random thing to do. They just spawned in. Like, okay, I guess the Triarchy Tywin Lannister was actually very successful there. Come on. Oh, sorry if I find this way more funny than you guys pick it. By the way, it's 6 a.m. in the morning here in Germany.
Rohit does bring up a good point. Why would Rhaena, if you're trying to basically run away or seek asylum, why the hell would you go back to the place where they know you're at?
Because Rhaena's an idiot.
It just makes no sense, but
and
whatever.
She's not as smart as Nettles.
JC, anything else you want to add to that discussion of season 2? God, man, it's getting dire.
Yeah, I mean, all in all, I'd like, if I'm allowed, can we like go into our final ratings now for the episode?
Feel free to.
So, yeah, I think like all in all, despite all of our complaining and despite all of our nitpicking, this show, it's well, I mean, like a lot of our I honestly, you don't need to nitpick. You can poke holes easily through this show.
The hole's already big. I just gotta be like whittling away.
Yeah, it's like the holes are pretty obvious here, even despite the flaws and the writing holes and everyone having jetpacks and Rhaena being a complete idiot and prophecy being what motivates characters and characters having no agency and there not being any nettles. Despite all of those things.
JT is the casual, like, hey, let's talk about the positive things. He brings up 2 things and then goes, hey, but there's this giant list of negatives.
But Alan has this beautiful scene and the music's good.
Despite all that, I still had fun with talking with you guys. In this episode, I still liked it better. The performances are still top tier. The visuals are still great. It's still a pretty show to look at. And there's some scenes there that I like. I like the Valerians. I like spawning Triarchy fleet. Oh no, I mean the vibes are still there. It's a good vibe. It's a good show to
the
vibe
Triarchy vibes when they show up, attack you on the road. They're attacking you like the Brotherhood without banners.
Yeah, they were. See, it wasn't Roose Bolton that stabbed Robb Stark. It was the Triarchy.
It was a Triarchy.
Yeah, so
Tywin Lannister sends his regards.
shout out Golohars there. She's like, the lie sends its regards. And her bad acting.
And then Rhaena comes in. Wait, guys, I want to be a part of it.
Oh, whoops. Sorry. What's the fake wife's name in the show? A fake Jane Westerling. What's her name? Talisa. Oh, sorry, Talisa. Accidentally stabbed you in the stomach. Oh, sorry. Oh, command me, knife. Oh, I'm sorry, knife. I'm accidentally stabbing Talisa.
It was all calculated. He needed to do the right away.
The comments. The comments. They dragged Daemon, the green man dragged Daemon out of the water, and he's accompanied north of the wall by the Triarchy.
All right. Well, despite all of the valid criticisms,
Noah recruited 100 million men. She was the greatest. I'm dying.
7 out of 10. 7 out of 10.
Yeah,
there you
do the
go.
review,
7 out of
yeah.
10.
I can't anymore. It's so hot.
Yeah,
in
Ricky,
here.
do your review. Do your rating. Give it a special Triarchy rating.
I'll try. I'll try. Okay. Woo! Man. I really thought that, like D Charles mentioned earlier, like if you separate this episode from all of this mess, I think in itself, and this was something that we did for season 6 and some of the later stuff, you always had episodes that worked in itself and was fine for the enjoyment for a week. If you view it in terms of like the bigger picture, that's where it I can't look at the comments. That's where it gets
You mean the
iffy, and I
Triarchy when they
think
show
there's a
up
lot.
every episode? Rhaenyras on the throne, the Triarchy are gonna burst in the door. Not today.
So real quick, I think the episode by itself was a decent episode. There are glaring holes, and lots of Triarchy. That's
Anything else you want to add to that? There's plenty of
No.
Triarchy jokes you can make.
I'm looking at the comments. I'm trying not to.
Some would say the Triarchy have been clashing the last few episodes.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Some would say it's actually the song of the Triarchy.
Yeah.
All right, so my rating for the episode, since I'm in a forgiving mood. I saw Millie Alcock this weekend playing Supergirl,
did.
so I was. Let's just say I'm in a forgiving mood this weekend. I'll give it a 6 out of 10, as it still had all of the same problems of all the other episodes. It had a couple more moments where I was like, that was good. And then
What was your rating?
I changed, and then the next thing played, and I was like, I remember why I don't like this show. So
Wait, what was your rating? I
6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. Okay.
Lock in, JC. Lock
Well-
in. It's not all about the Triarchy, okay?
Well, you were talking about Millie Alcock, and I was going to make a joke about how you're all cock for Millie Alcock.
Okay, dude. Okay, dude. This is why I drink on these streams. Right there. JC, you have a problem. You have an absolute problem with the Tri. You see what happens when we give him the power of being able to put the comments on? And he's the only one with this power.
Oh yeah, that's right, guys. I'm the one with actually, I'm the only one who has control. So I'm mousing over all you guys' comments and posting them on here.
Even though he fucking
coming, keep
smashed
coming.
his fucking whole ass keyboard prior to the stream, he still has the mouse.
That was the Triarchy, dude. That wasn't JC Ricky.
That's right. He always faces that.
When me and you looked away and he was going to get his chicken tenders before the stream, the Triarchy came.
Oh,
But
man.
in a more positive note, guys, if you are not happy with our opinions of the show, Becky does blog. She's usually more positive on these things. You can watch her reaction at some point after these episodes come out.
Yeah, she gave the first episode a 7 out of 10 when Ricky and I gave it a 6 and Grease gave it a 5. So
Hell yeah, I'm a hater for life. Fuck you, Ryan Condal.
Jesus.
Just don't hold back, Grease. Let it all out. Let it all out.
I don't. I never do.
Yeah, nice.
But next episode has been promised me that it will be better. So
Yeah,
we will
yeah,
see.
it's the best out of the 4 I've seen, and I think
will the Triarchy show up?
Return to this stream is doomed.
This is the
Triarchy
perfect Triarchy stream right here. That's all I gotta say. Someone say the Triarchy gave Ricky the episodes early. They fast traveled to Germany.
It was like HBO t-shirts. They spawned in my flat and just gave me the tape. Like, yeah, you do watch this.
I don't watch the trailers. Those are, I don't
Yeah,
care enough.
I didn't watch the episode 3 trailer. I'm sure it was full of like quotes that are supposed to be like memeable and quotable, but yeah.
All right, guys. Any closing thoughts before we end the stream?
The Triarchy sent its regards.
That was a lot of fun, and I really appreciate doing these streams with you guys. And thank you for the loads of funny and initially really intelligent and really good comments and discussion. I really enjoyed the stream this week. Thank you so much.
I'm just saying, and people ask us, why do we still cover the show if we don't like it? Watch the streams, dude. Yeah, we hate on the show, sure, but like we also have a great time. Like I'm literally was crying of laughter as part of this stream.
Yeah, I couldn't move. It hurt. And it's like, and again, remember, there's this big heat wave in Germany. I live in a flat in the attic. That's right. He's just burst that out.
There's no AC because of the Triarchy. They took all of it.
Yeah, Ricky lives in Germany where they don't believe in
ACs. Yeah, ventilator. Will Germany win tomorrow or today?
Who cares? It's soccer or football. Nobody cares.
Yeah, but we're gonna get destroyed by France.
That's gonna get some hate.
Germany's playing. Who are they playing?
Paraguay.
Oh, Germany's going to win that one. Oh, speaking of which, guys, I probably will not be here next week because I have tickets for a round of 16 game for the World Cup. They're playing here. They have like quite a few matches here in Seattle. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun here interacting with all the Egyptian and Australian fans that are here visiting the city. But I will be at a match there, which I think if things turn out on paper, it could be USA versus Belgium or USA versus Senegal. So I will be watching that in person as opposed to House of the Dragon Season 3, Episode 3, because I think that's probably a more fun use of my time. Well, actually, these streams are a lot of fun.
Outrageous.
But the episode itself, like I'd rather go to the World Cup. I'd rather eat chicken tenders. I don't know.
Dude, hell yeah.
Dog.
Hope you have an amazing time.
Yeah.
Hope you have an amazing time. I think the US is gonna make it soon.
Imagine leaving us for these House of the Dragon streams so you could have real life fun. What, outrageous. Yeah. That's not allowed. You have to be here at all times. You don't want to end up like Becky where she misses 2 streams in a row. That's outrageous. I'm joking, of course. People don't.
I'm gonna FaceTime you from the match, and like Lionel Messi for some reason is there. And actually, Lionel Messi takes off his mask, and it's like Sharako Lohar from the Triarchy. It's just like, you couldn't get rid of me. I'm here. I'm here in Seattle.
If the Triarchy is gonna win the World Cup,
they very well
everywhere.
Dude, Norway is like the most Triarchy team in this World Cup. So if Norway wins, then the Triarchy has indeed won.
Ooh, we forgot the most important rating. Eric, what did your dad say about the episode?
He gave it an 8 out of 10. So we gave the last episode a 7 out of 10. Wow. So he also agreed that it was better. He also had problems with the episode, but yeah, that's all I'll say there.
I think I didn't give my rating yet.
Yes,
so
you did.
Ricky, half ratings?
What? Sure.
Like 0.5?
Yeah, you could do half ratings.
Whatever floats your boat.
I'll do a 6.5. Otherwise, I would have done 7. So I think it's more to the 7 than it's the 6.
So Ricky gave it a 6.5. I gave it a 7. Grease gave it a 6. Grease's dad gave it a 7, right?
8.
8.
Last episode was a 7.
I'm gonna pretend to be Becky. Oh, it was a lot of fun, guys. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. There you go.
Dislike the stream. Dislike the stream for that accent. Dislike the streams.
I'm sorry, Becky.
Becky, I unsubscribe. All right, guys.
Oh.
Let's end the stream here. That was a good time. That was a good one.
All right,
you around.
guys. Bye. Thanks again.
We love the
Bye.
delay.
That's the end stream. End stream.